Hayden! The shuttle landed behind an abandoned truck stop. It wouldn't be visible from the highway, and they needed all the lead time they could muster. He checked his gear and motioned for his team to roll out. Maddie and Pierce got moving, and Eno started to follow. "Keep your boys back until we need them," Hayden requested. "These are anti-coalition feds. We alarm them and there's no telling who they'll shoot." Eno seemed to buy it. "I understand, but we're here to assist." "You'll assist, all right." The bared teeth of Hayden's smile threatened aliens, but Eno was different. "Be ready to bail us out and scoop us up when things go runny." Maddie might be more useful on the shuttle, but Hayden needed her with him. This would be his one chance to brief his team without coalition spying. At least he hoped that would be possible, considering how closely the Admiral appeared to be monitoring events on Earth. There had to be dead spots, though, and he'd find one. "Walk where I walk, be quiet, and don't get yourself killed," he told Maddie. "I'll be fine," she snapped. "Pierce." At his signal, the women fell in behind him. Hayden didn't imagine that Pierce needed orders. She set to laying the charges in strategic spots along the highway lane. He surveyed the landscape and found Maddie already looking in the same direction, perfect vantage for a lookout post. She went up, likely prepared to signal if they got more trouble than he'd bargained. Hayden found his own hiding spot and smiled slightly. "I do enjoy a good ambush." Everything was ready when the scout helicopter approached. 4 escort vehicles, at least 1 chopper, and the bus. That was what Hayden had expected. He checked Maddie's position. The woman wasn't combat trained, but she was razor sharp. She has to be scared. 4 black SUVs in front. That meant at least 2 more behind and another copter swooping around somewhere. The feds knew they had a valuable prisoner. His squad wasn't even using shortwave to communicate. No chance of being rumbled by the feds or the Admiral. Fighting a war on 2 fronts is a shit situation, but it's the hand I'm holding. This op would be executed in complete radio silence. The first explosion hit the side of the bus, knocking it over and off the road. More explosions followed. 2 of the lead escorts and both behind were flipped over. Pierce opened the bus door a second later. Hayden raced toward the rolled vehicle, up and through the doors to assess the damage. The driver lay unconscious, still strapped in his seatbelt. Izzy had on a charcoal jumpsuit with no number. Her fate would have been worse than the penitentiary, some off-books detention center. Her curly black hair was tied up, and her round face was smeared with dirt and blood, already out of her cuffs. No wonder Pierce adores this woman. Darius Grim Rivers wasn't the bioengineer the Admiral needed to design an anti-human plague, but he'd been in Hayden's unit and Hayden trusted him. With a muttered curse, Grim accepted help from Pierce and Izzy. His dark skin was glossy with pain sweat from a wound on his shoulder, blood slowly seeping through the fabric of his prisoner's uniform. Maddie appeared on the other side of the doorway, ready to help people out. 2 guards were still breathing, banged up enough not to offer resistance. Backup would be on scene in less than 2 minutes. I have one chance to tell you this, so pay attention. There was a plan, but the situation has changed. Our mission hasn't. Take your cues from me and use your heads. He gave them his most earnest look. "Izzy, Grim, things will get weird. Stay calm and play along. Pierce and Maddie know the tune. You'll pick it up as we go." "Missed you," Pierce said to Izzy, appearing to pay him no mind. She stole a kiss with no regard for the situation. Hayden sighed and shook his head, knowing better than to say, "It's not the time." That would just start an argument that would slow them down even more. "Getting out of here would be a good start," Izzy said quickly. She was clearly reading the room. Well, the rolled bus. Hayden approved of Pierce's choice of partners, not that anyone had asked him. Grim set his jaw, gritting his teeth through the pain. "Enough bullshit. I'm in the mood to shoot somebody." "Do the guards have anything we can use?" Maddie asked, smart, always looking for the next move. Pierce checked the bus from front to back and shook her head, biting off a curse. "Not enough for all of us." "Give me a fucking gun," Grim demanded. Pierce made the call, keeping one for herself and giving the other sidearm to Grim. Nobody was about to tell him the injury might impact his aim, least of all Hayden. When Grim wanted to shoot somebody, people got shot. Let's try to buy some time first, Hayden suggested. He went out with his hands in the air. We surrender. Read me my rights. Get me a lawyer. This is Agent Valence. Put down your weapons and get on the ground. He tried to make it look like he was complying with all demands, but the shooting started. He dove behind the bus, rolling clear of the first barrage. Good thing Grimm and Pierce got the guns. Hayden wasn't in a good position to return fire. These were straight-up men in black types, dark sunglasses and matching suits, flashing no badges and offering no warnings about what law enforcement agency they worked for. They shot out the windshield of the bus. Maddie landed beside Hayden, her face pallid with fear. "We gonna make it out of here?" "Have I ever failed before?" he asked, trying for a light tone. "There's always a first time," she retorted. "And I'd prefer to avoid having certain firsts and lasts right here beside this bus. Eno will come. I don't need to call for backup for him to hear shots fired." From inside the wrecked bus, Grimm and Pierce popped off a few rounds, but standard-issue firearms only had so many shots. One of the MIBs dropped and Hayden heard Grimm celebrate. "Said I was going to shoot somebody, didn't I?" "Fuck yeah, you did," Pierce agreed. Before the situation could get worse, the aliens hit hard. Dorf and Darroy bowled in, firing emitters on full power at the vehicles. SUVs went flying and the bus tumbled upside down. Izzy and Grimm staggered out. The alien cohort folded up their quills and charged the agents still standing, crashing them physically to the ground. The shuttle flashed through the air, playing chicken with the helicopters, forcing them to dodge. Eno must have activated the retrieval system because Hayden saw the collection tubes extend. He bid the feds farewell with both middle fingers. "On second thought, we don't surrender, you bastards."